Good evening, I'm DK Ross now. Welcome back to the TTT News.
Good day. My name is Sheldon Wylie, founder of Second Chance Charity Foundation. I want to say thanks to the principals of Arima Gills Government, Davide Government, and Maloney Government Primary School for allowing us in their schools to be a blessing to these kids and to support them with devices like these. On December month, on my birthday, it was my dream to launch a charity foundation or to do something bigger than myself, to actually be a blessing or to leave a mark or to actually do something positive or to create hope. And I did a barbecue and I get a lot of support.
And creating hope is what we're talking about. And we're having a real talk with, and if I read it correctly, he's a Real Madrid fan, he can correct me. But and on the same couch, we're speaking with Mr. Sheldon Wylie, otherwise known as Daddy, because that's what they call you. And so welcome, Sheldon. How you doing, man?
Hi, good day.
Now, in terms
Yes,
of
I'm a Real Madrid.
great, I saw the video after, but what really put me onto you is the fact that you did a post on, I believe it was Sunday, and that has been shared a great deal. And to me, it takes a lot of courage to kind of put yourself out there and share. Give me a little bit of insight into what actually went into that post, no, Sheldon?
No problem. Well, it was a tough day. It was a day like any other, I would say. But that day, my daughter was going through some stuff, because she facing a big year without her mom, and she been CXA, so she was having an emotional time. But coming close to the evening and realized she locked up herself in the room, and she didn't really want to have a conversation and stuff. And as a parent, I was taking it on because studying well, I know what you can do to really try and see if you can help. And I decided to just take a drive, but really and truly the drive was to really be by himself, but I watch and I said, well, you want to go for a drive? But deep down inside I said, well, boy, I really could do a little drive to, clear my head and stuff. But she said yes. So, and I said, well, all right. We went for the drive. To have a place that sell food, this new food court in Takrega. So while we in the car, she was talking and she was telling me how she was feeling. She was emotionally, not just drained, but she was sad and she wanted to know why she feeling sad, and she getting vexed, but I know she missing mommy, and so she started talk, and she said she was feeling, all sorts of emotions, and she just doesn't like how she feeling, and I was trying to really be the inspiration to her in spite of, being burdened down with all the stuff that, they have to go through and stuff, and you're watching as a parent, your hands tied, and you're watching your children and you wish you could actually fix things for them. You wish you could make them feel good, but you actually can't. So when we went, at that same day I cooked her favorite peas because she really like lentil peas. See, she didn't even eat peas. So I carried her and I buy a burger. When we came back home, she needed the burger. So I know she was, wasn't 100%. So after when I came back, I was in my thoughts, on a poem with the gospel, and I started writing. And I just ended up writing that post, and just share it because I really wanted to share to really share what a single father is going through. And at the same time, to let other fathers know that there are fathers who struggle, it didn't really have nothing perfect as a perfect father, and to not only stress on women being single parent, but there might be a minority of fathers who out there trying their best. And I just wanted to really, I ended up just writing that and I shared. No, I didn't know it would have all these viral posts, and reading some of the posts, it was a little overwhelming for a couple of days, I had to switch off my phone, because I really didn't know the impact it would actually have, but also reading, I was blessed to read some of the encouragement of other fathers, who was saying how they felt, I even read a post where a guy said, thanks for sharing because he knew it's the first time he being a dad, and I believe it's have men out there who really want to be a dad and want to be a good father, it's just sometimes, and I don't think I should use the word sometimes, but it really hardly have fathers out there who could actually mentor men to be better fathers, and by doing this, you could probably see other fathers coming out and showing their support in like showing they trying to be the father that they can be to the best that they could be. And it was a I really tried to write it speaking to me, because I had a conversation with myself, who I am, and that's what they call me is what my kids call me daddy, and life throws challenges at you. And it actually asks you who you are when the challenges are. Just this time it was my kids. And people say that it sounds like a poem, and I didn't intend it to be actually a poem. I talking to somebody today and they thought it was a spoken word. I didn't even use it to be a spoken word, but I just really had a conversation with myself and I just put it in writing, of the challenges that my kids was really asking and demanding from me as a daddy. And all I could say, well, I am their dad, and who I am, and that is what really inspired me to write these stuff as I touch on some of my personal stuff with changes of COVID-19 and CXC and salaries and jobs that is being insecure, and you name it. And yet still, I still have to be daddy at the end of the day, no matter who I am, and I just really wanted to really stress on, the realness of how I was feeling that night, and to show that there are daddies, who facing the challenges that women face, and they are not alone.
And, and I really want to thank you for sharing because um, I could see there are many people who would be feeling whatever it is they're feeling because who feels it knows it. But at the same
Yeah,
time, they wouldn't share in that way
yeah,
because the way that people grow up, boys get treated different to girls, and girls are allowed to cry and deal with the emotional side. And after you have that release, then you can articulate what the problem is and move forward. And
yeah,
boys are just supposed to suck it up if you get up, or you have a white man, you put a bandage on, and you deal with it. And you even talk about having to do some of that and deal with a situation before you could kind of deal with how it is you're feeling mentally. Your daughter was in a space where she needed you, where she needed daddy. And
yeah.
feedback from fellas, from men, how has that shown, or has it been important to them in that kind of way, saying, I'm glad to know that somebody else feeling some of the things that I'm feeling, and that kind of communication, because you said, yes, you had to turn off your phone, but in terms of turning your phone back on and dealing with some of that communication, what has that been like?
It was nice because the majority of the response obviously is women, and obviously, and I could probably safely say based on statistics, women have the vast majority of the single parents where probably men walk out their lives, separations, breakup, you name it, and they have to actually bear the burden. And a matter of fact, I actually admire women strength and ability going beyond, above and beyond of trying to really provide for their family and for their home, for their kids, in spite of their situation. So it was nice reading the comments, and as men, as you were rightly saying, we have a tendency of having a problem opening up, and society have a part to do with it, probably the independence of women have a part to do with it, and probably how, you know, women might be able to be real strong with a mouth. So some things that be coming out of the mouth that might ostracize guys, and some guys might be intimidated to really say how they feel. But I think men should find a safe place where they can actually transform, because what happened, that is vital, and that is what I had to do. Because when my wife passed away, I had a lot of roller coaster ride myself, because I had to come to terms with a sudden change in my life. And yeah, I reached a point in time where I had to actually look myself in the mirror, and I actually didn't like what I saw, and I had to take responsibility and ownership of the person that I really want to become. And these is critical choices I think all men should make in the personal lives if they want to be better men, better fathers, better husbands, better role models, you name it, because life will challenge you as an individual, especially as a man, especially we're going on in our country where there's this dark clouds over men in particular. And it's time that the ones who really trying and making a difference, if they could actually share light, like, someone where I try to expose my own self to let other men know that it's okay, it's about other men who willing to really show a side that you don't normally see, and a side where a man might normally open up to, even as I sprinkle some of my personal troubles in that message that I post. I wasn't ashamed about it at all, because at the end of the day, I strive to be a better individual, and being a better individual, vulnerability have to take a part of it. So, but it was inspiring watching all the messages and stuff, and I get to realize it have a community of widows. I didn't even know it have a community of widows. So doing this and all, it even opened up my eyes to see, how much people it have out there that actually going through the same thing that I going through as well.
And in terms of making that difference and sharing that light and doing things that need to be done, because sometimes it's a matter of 5 loaves and 2 fisher. But we continue this conversation with you, Sheldon Wylie. When we return, we are coming back. Don't move. Welcome back. We are speaking with Sheldon Wylie, who lost his wife physically a little while ago. He remains a father to his children, and he continues to move forward in spite of. Now, Sheldon, we started off with a sort of, or a clip rather, of you speaking about Second Chance Charity Foundation. So what is that, or what led to it, and what are some of the things that the foundation has done thus far?
Well, what happened? What really led to this charity foundation? It's something I always wanted to do, something bigger than myself. Something that can actually be of service, to make a difference in the life of another human being. The name actually was really my wife, Ayana Wylie. She used to be a teacher at Sandy Grande Business College, and one of her dreams was to open up a school for kids who never make it through the school system. Like she used to say, well, like we say, like children who probably get pregnant, and they can go and do CXC, or kids who the system actually didn't cater for their needs because they probably was too slow. And she wanted to name the school Second Chance. So what happened is that I ended up naming it Second Chance to honor her, and at the
Or it seems as though you're breaking up on us a little bit, Sheldon.
that is what really influenced. And it ended up being a blessing, because when I went to these schools, and I get to look at these notebooks and see how much kids without devices, it was amazing. Because what happened, when I bring these devices to these schools, you would like to think that you was able to actually help, but when you see the book and how much names of students that do not have devices, it was sad. Because what happened, this is a year of children without school. So you can imagine these children, when they had to go back to school, what these teachers have to face, and I'm not saying that some parents might be unable to purchase these devices because of financial constraints because of COVID-19. And there are also parents who refuse to buy devices for the kids so that they can actually have a class. And I remember my daughter telling me that she wants to go to class. And I sure it have kids who want to go to class. I sure that there are kids out there who telling themselves, well, I can't go to class. Imagine I will come last in test. And my mommy and my daddy didn't even get my tablet. These is children who crying out, and these children will be facing some serious issues mentally, emotionally, physically, because they can't even be with their peers in school. You know what I mean? I believe it have children out there who want to go to school, but they just can't. You know what I mean? And that alone is a form of abandonment. And these is children who know the system and people had to actually now look out for because they will be coming up now with issues, from this pandemic, that people probably not looking at. And I just said, you know what, let me just try to see if I could do my part and encourage people to try and see if they could see how they could do their part too as well, because now about just stuffing money down, and trying to keep money for yourself, but it have people who in need and it have children who willing to go to class, but they just can't, and if it can make a difference, try and make a difference because it will go a long way. It could change a child's life. It could change the direction of a child, and just being the person for a child to know that they can look back because we all was young. And you want to know, well, if somebody can look back and look at you and realize that you need help rather than just go about your daily life, it does feel good, that somebody look back. And that's what I was trying to do with this charity foundation. And right now, Saturday, well, I don't hardly have any more available because it's almost done, thank God. But Saturday is another curfew where we hold on. And with the sales, we'll be able to buy more tablets to provide for these three primary schools: Arima Girls Government, Dably Government, and Maloney Government Primary School.
And with regard to contacting Second Chance Charity Foundation, because sometimes I think people may think, well, my little dusky, I do nothing. But in terms of putting those pieces together to be able to have a bigger result, how do people contact the foundation to be a part of it in whatever way that they can?
All right, so what happened is I'm in the process of putting together a page, because I wanted to register it and everything. So now it's registered. So I'm in the process of putting together a page, so it'll be legal and everything. And but for now, I want to share it from my personal account because of this post, it was overwhelming. But once I make the page, people will be able to to get in contact with me comfortably, and they'll be able to actually show their love and support through donation through the page. Sorry.
All right, and with that, we have about a minute more. There is a statement that you said, and I want you in that minute to go in on it a little bit, in the sense that men need men.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I don't mind. I'm in the process of starting a men's group, and we had our first men meeting on Zoom. And it was nice, and it was supposed to be an hour, and it went straight to almost midnight. And why I stress that men need men is because um, it takes a man to help another man. I think if men could actually shy away from becoming too much friends with women, and try to see if they could try and find men we could relate with, because men have issues. Now, I'm not saying that you should have female friends, but what happens is that because boys grow up with mothers, they tend to be passive, and it forms kind of influence in their lives that they will struggle to actually identify the manhood. And because they have so much absent fathers who can't even help these boys to become men, they struggle in relationships. And you see it where women having problems with men, even all now, where, for instance, a woman will have a man and she will say, will say, well, he real nice, she real nice, but she would like to say, well, you don't know him anymore, because these men who struggle with their identity, and they depend on the relationships to fix them, and a relationship can't fix them. I mean, it's our men who need issues, who have issues and really need help on it. And I see it in my own personal life. And this men group now, it form a way where we can actually open up and communicate and have a rapport with men and deal with tough issues, tangible issues. I don't know if I could say, but like even issues with pornography and all these stuff, you could actually have a conversation about, and you could hear, well, you are not too as well, and I know
And in
too, and
terms
I
of
know
and in
struggle
terms of
with
dealing
things.
with those issues, Sheldon, it kind of reminds me. You say it was supposed to be an hour, but it went till midnight. Well, we can't go till midnight tonight, but at the same time, hopefully, this is just the first of many, and we're looking forward for the information that you have, so that we can share your page when it is fully up and operational, and we keep this conversation going because it is necessary at this time. But we want to thank you for sharing your light and doing what it is you're doing, Sheldon.
No problem, man. I appreciate it a lot, man. Thank
Definitely.
you for having me.
Definitely. And on behalf of the entire news team, I'm DK Roster. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.